name, I just wanna be famous. But I don't want that cheap fame, no I'm not that vain. I just wanna be greatness. 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 Ain't no motherfucker in this world could do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself, in my psyche. You should have the same in your brain nightly. If you wanna taste me, you can fucking try me. If you wanna hate, you know where to find me. And if you go and hate this, you can fucking bite me. Okay, I'm going off every chance I get. I don't really take a loss, well, I'll admit. That's why I'll make it to the top, yeah, I commit. And no, I'm never getting lost, I get after it. Investing in my own stock, cause it's faster than any crypto hits go, let me spend. Everything that you see is something I invent. And it's only a percent. I'm gonna take shots. If I miss all, forget it. I'll take a fat loss just to learn all that's in it. I'm taking snapshots, learning how to fall and get it. I'm getting back up, always stand tall, don't sweat it. I never back up, I don't miss a thing or regret it. I'm always learning, you could call me academic. I'm always working, never been apathetic. That energy is like a poison, needs some antiseptic. Ain't no motherfucker in this world could do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself, in my psyche. You should have the same in your brain nightly. If you wanna taste me, you can try me. If you wanna hate, bitch, you know where to find me. And if you go and hate this, you can fight me. Ain't no motherfucker in this world could do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself, in my psyche. You should have the same in your brain nightly. If you wanna taste me, you can fucking try me. If you wanna hate, you know where to find me. And if you go and hate this, you can fucking bite me. Ain't no motherfucker in this world can do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself. Ain't no motherfucker in this world could do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself, in my psyche. You should have the same in your brain nightly. If you wanna taste me, you can fucking try me. If you wanna hate, you know where to find me. And if you go and hate this, you can fucking bite me. I'll be cruising in my lane fast, call it high speed. I've been working hard, yeah, I've been working nightly. If you think you'll win, ha, not likely. I be taking shots, yeah, cold-blooded, icy. Watching numbers grow is what I call sightseeing. In the front row, run it up when they hype me. The following grows, they know how to ignite me. Call me CEO, I've been running right, see. And I ain't playing games, I create my own lane. Making pleasure out of pain, turning losses into gains. I'm the boss, I'm making change. I've been rocking this exchange, popping off and risking things. Gonna make a fucking name, I just wanna be famous. But I don't want that cheap fame, no I'm not that vain. I just wanna be greatness. 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 Ain't no motherfucker in this world could do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself, in my psyche. You should have the same in your brain nightly. If you wanna taste me, you can fucking try me. If you wanna hate, you know where to find me. And if you go and hate this, you can fucking bite me. Okay, I'm going off every chance I get. I don't really take a loss, well, I'll admit. That's why I'll make it to the top, yeah, I commit. And no, I'm never getting lost, I get after it. Investing in my own stock, cause it's faster than any crypto hits go, let me spend. Everything that you see is something I invent. And it's only a percent. I'm gonna take shots. If I miss all, forget it. I'll take a fat loss just to learn all that's in it. I'm taking snapshots, learning how to fall and get it. I'm getting back up, always stand tall, don't sweat it. I never back up, I don't miss a thing or regret it. I'm always learning, you could call me academic. I'm always working, never been apathetic. That energy is like a poison, needs some antiseptic. Ain't no motherfucker in this world could do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself, in my psyche. You should have the same in your brain nightly. If you wanna taste me, you can try me. If you wanna hate Cruising in my lane fast, call it high speed. I've been working hard, yeah, I've been working nightly. If you think you'll win, ha, not likely. I be taking shots, yeah, cold-blooded, icy. Watching numbers grow is what I call sightseeing. In the front row, run it up when they hype me. The following grows, they know how to ignite me. Call me CEO, I've been running right, see. And I ain't playing games, I create my own lane, making pleasure out of pain.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the most interactive wrestling stream on the interweb. Welcome back to Big Oma Live. I am your host with the most, who's ready to roast everything bad about professional wrestling today. We got a lot to get into, a lot to talk about. WWE once again seems to have adjusted the plans for WrestleMania according to a major report this week, courtesy of the one, the only, Uncle Dave himself, Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter. We'll take a look at some of that reporting. We'll also talk about what I think the plans for WrestleMania should be, and we will talk about all of the wonderful stuff happening in the world of wrestling free agency. The Rascals to AEW, seemingly Will Hobbs to WWE, and so much more. And on top of it all, I will be giving out the first ever Real Takey Awards, which are awards that I simply made up because it is my freaking stream. And that's what I'm doing. So we'll talk about that. 2025 awards going to be handed out today. Hopefully everyone's having a fantastic Sunday, whether it's morning, night, whatever. I hope everyone's doing great. You got Sharon in the chat. Hello, Sharon. Good to see you. We also have Michelle in the chat. I like the idea of a triple threat match between Drew, Cody, Jacob Fatu because it gives a WrestleMania main event within 2 years of his WWE career. Give me your thoughts, Omer. Well, let's actually take a look at some of what has come out about this WrestleMania main event situation. So there's been a lot of talk about what the actual main event for Mania was supposed to / is going to be. You know, I think that, like, you know, the thing that to keep in mind is plans are always fluid. Plans can, as we've seen in the past, plans can and many times do tend to change. What's up, Shay? Good to see you. It's morning here. It is also morning where I'm at, almost. Well, kind of. Well, it's about to not be morning, but anyway. But let's talk about this whole WrestleMania situation, because everything kind of changed, it seems, within the last couple of hours. Or last couple of days, excuse me, not hours. It is what if things change in the last couple of hours, then what I'm about to tell you is outdated. So definitely not within the last couple of hours. What's up, Derek? Good to see you. Hot take. Randy Orton is Jacob Fatu's attacker. Do we think so? Do we think so? Well, let's dive in together, guys. All right. So, the WrestleMania main event situation is like a messy one. So, originally it was reported that the WrestleMania main event was supposed to be Cody versus Roman. That's why they had that big stare down at Survivor Series. That's why that it seemed like those two were going to come to a head. And it looks like just within the past couple of weeks, plans changed, and they changed rather quickly. We'll take a look at some of the reporting courtesy of the Wrestling Observer newsletter. We have one report here. Cody reportedly felt it would be fresher to go into this year's WrestleMania chasing the Undisputed Championship rather than defending it, which is why he pushed for Drew McIntyre to become the champion. Okay, on the surface, it's like, whoa, so is Drew just supposed to win this now and then drop it to Roman? Because again, everyone believed that the plan was supposed to be Roman versus Cody. Well, plans seem to have changed because we have another report here, courtesy of Wrestling Observer newsletter, about this situation. We'll zoom in. Triple H reportedly decided that doing a Cody Rhodes-Roman Reigns match at WrestleMania this year for the third time in 4 years and spending months building the direction would lead to audience fatigue, which I think many of us would agree. But we are not done there. We have even more insight into kind of what has been happening behind the scenes. Both Drew McIntyre and Cody have been pushing that McIntyre should get the Undisputed Championship. McIntyre said to be pretty vocal that he felt it was the best thing for all concerned, and Rhodes agreed, feeling it would be fresher to go into this year's WrestleMania chasing rather than defending it. Okay, so we have all of that, and then we have the final nail in this, in that it was supposed to be Roman and Cody. Now, what's the direction things seem to be going in? Well, there are reportedly two trains of thought. The current two Undisputed Championship match ideas, that are reportedly being considered for WrestleMania this year: Drew McIntyre versus Cody Rhodes, Drew McIntyre versus Cody Rhodes versus Jacob Fatu. Okay, so that seems to lay the groundwork for where we are currently in this entire WrestleMania cycle. As we remember last year, and Unreal actually proved this. The original plans for Mania were a lot different than what we got just a couple of months before. Originally, if you even go back to watch WWE Unreal, you can see on the whiteboard that they had, Gunther was slated to face Punk. That was one of the possibilities. I believe that there was another one. I believe it was like Rhea versus Charlotte, something to that degree. But the plans obviously changed. Punk ended up in that triple threat main event, and the rest is history. And just like that, I think that WWE is also looking to change the direction of Mania. Now, whether it's a good direction or not is up to the beholder. What do I think about this? I think personally that doing Roman and Cody it's not inherently bad. I don't think it would be an inherently bad idea. I think the issue you'd run into is a very similar issue you've ran into with Cody in the past couple of years. And that is that more often than not, the way the WWE tends to portray the Cody Rhodes character is that of a geek, right? Like there's really only a couple of fleeting moments that he's been presented as this conquering babyface. But more often than not, he's getting turned on by his friends. He's throwing his hands down in the main event of WrestleMania. He's giving his main event title shot away to The Rock. And on top of that, we know that Roman tends to be a pretty good shooter when it comes to putting other talent in their place. And I could very well see a situation where Roman Reigns comes out on the mic and says, QB1, huh? Is that why they keep calling me back every time the ratings slip? Roman is very protective of his spot. And like a lot of top guys before him, that's his thing. But the issue, right, with doing that is if you're going to book it, you have to book it right. You have to make it compelling. Like, this is, and because you can only do this so many times before the audience genuinely gets like fatigued and says, F it, I don't care anymore. So for me, the idea that Roman and Cody would go toe to toe is not bad. It's the execution that I would be very worried about. And if the plan is for Roman to just get his win back, I'm not sure. Shay in the chat asks, at this point, do you really want to see Roman win the title again? I just think that he's above the title at this point. That's a very valid argument to make. And an even more valid argument to make is, I think that if the direction is Drew versus Cody for Mania, that's a huge mistake. Huge mistake. That is not saying that Drew shouldn't be champion going into Mania. That's not saying that Drew and Cody won't have a banger match. But we have legit seen this match like 5 times on a major show. They have been building, like, this has been a feud that has been prolonged and been going on for the better part of 8 months at this point, right? So for me, it's like, you're going back to the well that early again. I don't like that. I'm not a fan of that. I hate that idea. I think that Drew, Cody, and Jacob Fatu is a little bit more interesting. But at that point, I'm just like, give me Jacob Fatu versus Cody. One-on-one. You don't need to make it a triple threat match. Or give me, Drew versus Jacob Fatu. Like give me something a little bit more interesting than the Drew Cody dynamic. To me, at least, it's just washed. I don't want that. I think it's overplayed. I think it's overdone. I think it's trash at this point. No. Another situation that I think could be very interesting is doing a thing where maybe a Sami Zayn wins it at the Rumble, and then you do like a really cool babyface versus babyface story with Cody and Sammy. I think that could be very interesting as well. I'm just really not feeling the Cody Drew thing right now. I just really do not feel that. Michelle says, would you put Jacob in the main event or Sammy in the main event? Personally, look, I like both of them. I'm a huge fan of both Jacob and Sammy. Sammy's my guy. I want Sammy in the main event of Mania. I won't be watching the Rumble, so if he ends up winning the title at the Rumble, I'm going to be very disappointed because I don't watch those Saudi blood money shows. But yeah. Omer, I'm happy that Triple H finally got exposed because he's super lazy with booking. It's like his heart is not in it anymore. I mean, I think complacency is the name of the game in WWE right now, and unfortunately, the TKO virus is spread to the booking as well. So very unfortunate there, but overall seems to be shifting plans. Anything could happen. I think just like last year, you won't really get a good sense of where WWE is headed until the Royal Rumble. So that's the big thing to pay attention to. Don't watch it though. Because because the Saudi government is really bad. Anyway, yeah, I agree. It's getting old. By the way, guys, you know what's getting old? 10 of you watching and only like, what is it? 5 likes? Oh, actually, no, 9 likes. But let's get that up. I know not all of you have hit that like button. Let's hit that like button. Guys, if you want to guarantee your question or statement is right on the air, easiest way to do that is by becoming a member for $5 a month. Only $5. These days, in America, less than you would spend on guac at Chipotle. Crazy, I know. But $5 a month, you get access to early videos, you get access to custom emotes, you get access to your chats being read out guaranteed, and you support the Real Take movement. Let's go. So $5 a month, become a member, or leave a super chat if you want to guarantee your questions are read out and answered. I get fatigued when they announce Roman's return. Yeah, doesn't everybody? Yeah, I don't know, man. I just shout out to Jamie. Greetings from Netherlands. Man, yeah, I was in Amsterdam like a couple of months ago. Really dope. Really enjoyed it. Very walkable city. We love walkable cities here at Real Take. At Real Take, period. we love walkable cities. Shout out to walkable cities. But those are the Mania plans right now. And again, everything could change. Everything probably will change. Everything is always like just fluid and moving when it comes to WrestleMania. And the only real hope, right, is I really, really hope that the WWE apparatus is able to like look past their complacency, look past like all of that, and just book good stuff. Especially coming off of last year's debacle of a Mania. Like, it was genuinely may have been one of the worst Manias of all time. They want to keep this momentum, keep those ticket prices high, whatever they want to do, they're going to have to book some good stuff from time to time. Omer, that premiere of TNA was a disaster. Remember Eric Bischoff said that TNA will dethrone AEW as a number 2 company. Sorry, but AEW has reached the next level. That's not going to happen. I mean, it was never going to happen. I mean, Eric Bischoff, look, shout out to him. I'll give him credit where credit is due. He did admit at least that the TNA premiere on AMC was a bad show. So I guess that is an honest take, I would say, from someone who's been in the wrestling business much longer than I have, and who's seen a lot more wrestling than I have, I guess. But yeah, no, it was not a good show. It was quite disappointing, and I think in a large way like a waste of time. I made a video about this on Wrestle Vibes where I really like expressed my full thoughts on the situation and the show itself. So for those, go check it out. But what I will say here is that with TNA, you had a window to be not necessarily a number two company, but to be viewed as a top tier company, right? In that conversation of when you think pro wrestling, it's AEW or it's WWE, AEW, TNA, right? They had an opportunity to get back in that conversation. New TV deal, new vibe, building around some stars, all that stuff. And unfortunately, I think after this, it's like, it just feels like, I mean, after this in the last couple of months, it just feels like same old TNA. Because no one has gotten in the way of total nonstop action, impact, and whatever you want to call it, more than the company itself. It's just been really bad. It's been horrible. I think firing Scott D'Amore was a huge mistake in retrospect. I mean, it was always a mistake, but like it was really a mistake. He was the glue for the vision of TNA. And look, they got a TV deal. I'm not sure what the logistics and the details are on that, whether it's a deal that's paying them a certain amount of money, or it is a deal where, it's a probationary deal, because that's kind of what AEW was on the first couple of months of their TV contract. It was more so like, let's see how this does, and obviously it did very well, way better than I think people originally thought it was going to be, and they ended up getting a very lucrative deal. Will that happen with TNA? What's their situation? That's TBD. But you have one chance to make a good impression, in my view, when it comes to this. You were building up this major premiere on AMC. You have a pay-per-view right after it. You, sold like 2,300 tickets for an episode of Impact, which is really good. And on top of that, like, you had a chance to get rid of some of the stink of the past couple of months with the Santana stuff, the pillaging of your roster at the hands of World Wrestling Entertainment. And it just felt like they put on a very bland, boring, in some ways very bad show. Like the Perez Hilton stuff was horrible with Elegance. Like that was really bad. The wrestling wasn't great. Like, my whole thing is like, TNA, like it showed like the real like thing wrong with TNA, where it's like, say what you want about either company and what your preferences in wrestling are. If you're watching AEW, you're going to get fantastic action, fantastic in-ring pro wrestling, fantastic stories, right? You're getting that with AEW. With WWE, say what you want. You're going to get big moments, big stars, big pyro, spectacle. You're going to get that, right? 100%. With TNA, you're not really getting anything. And that's the issue, because they don't have anything to fall back on. They have talent. I'm not saying they don't got talent, but it doesn't come across in any particular and special way, because the wrestling isn't as good as you see on AEW. The spectacle is nowhere near what you see on WWE. And, the things that they used to have to make them stand out, the X Division, all that, like, it's being done everywhere else. And, again, I'm not saying that TNA needs to get too gimmicky or whatever, but I think, like, it really was a demonstration of, like, it's that it's not even being good at being expert at nothing, but good at everything. I don't even think it was that. I think it was like bad at everything, good at nothing type deal. And it's very sad to see. But look, I'm not trying to be like this Debbie Downer. I think that management in TNA needs to take notice. That was a bad show. And even your most ardent supporters are telling you that it was a really bad show. And we'll see what the ratings end up being. I hope they're high, because, quite frankly, I want TNA to do well. I want TNA to do well because the industry as a whole is better if there's another, challenger brand. I don't think that TNA would ever be a challenger brand at WWE, but there could be a challenger brand at AEW, and that would mean that more people get paid. That would mean more wrestlers get opportunities. And, like if TNA figures out their freaking creative situation, you have a situation where you have people, hopefully telling good stories, and there's more stories and more people get brought into the pro wrestling bubble. I want that. I really want that. I want more fans. Omar, are you worried that AEW's business grows? Hopefully it will affect the creative in the negative way, because we saw WWE's business side grow. They started not to focus on creative. I would be concerned if AEW ever went public in that regard, because when you run a private business, Tony Khan is the boss. He's got the controlling stake. No one else can tell him what to do. He is the control, like he controls everything. When you get, when you go public and you become a publicly traded company and you get, shareholders involved like WWE did in the early 2000s, that's when things change. That's when you adjust the way you do creative. That's when you limit the way you do creative. That's when all of that is affected, because Tony Khan would no longer answer to himself. He would answer to others. So I think, in reality, the only people you should answer to are the fans. Long stream, 24-hour, please, since there's nothing happening today. I don't know. You're not going to get 24 hours out of me. You're definitely not going to. I don't got the energy for that, man. You guys have to remember, WWE brought Eric Bischoff, Paul Heyman back in the same way in 2020. Who still has their job and who's hosting a podcast? Good point, I guess. I don't think Tony Khan will ever go public due to the fact that he has other business ventures. Tony's a billionaire. I remember that. Like, Tony is a billionaire. And I mean that in that, like, I both am he doesn't really need it, but also I wouldn't put it past him. Because look, people like money. And no one likes money more than rich people. No one likes making more money than rich people. I'm not saying that. I don't know Tony personally, but I'm always wary when and I think rightfully so, whenever we're talking about billionaires and their ambitions. I think that there's obviously, like, you can never fully tell. But I wish TNA the best, though. It was not a good first impression on AMC. We'll again see what the ratings are. AMC officials, though, I will say, disagreed with me. So that's at the end of the day who they need to keep happy. And if AMC is happy with TNA, then they're in good shape. So we'll see what happens there. Be sure to smash that thumbs up, guys, if you haven't already. Aren't the Jaguars and Fulham technically public? They are not. No. NFL is all NFL teams are a private venture. I'm not sure about Fulham, but I would imagine it's the same thing. It's a franchise. Do you think Tony is signing all these young indie talent because ROH will be on TV soon? That's an interesting point. I'm not sure. I would hope that all of these signings, all people who are good, I think, I think the Rascals are good. I think obviously, all like a lot of their other signings are really good too. But at the same time, I'm half kind of worried that there isn't a larger play here. There isn't, like, whether it's putting ROH on YouTube or whatever, that there isn't like a distribution for that. And if there's not, then I think you just have a bloated roster with no vision, which is the issue. And has long been an issue with AEW. You guys want some notes on WWE Creative? Let's take a look here. According to Dave Meltzer, Wrestling Observer newsletter, more notes regarding WWE Creative. William Regal's role isn't really creative. His role is critiquing the style and believability of matches during the show. Well, William, Sir Steven Regal, please help. I need you to lock in on work, bro. I need you to lock in at work, because you are not locking in with some of the matches that I watched in 2025. Please lock in. Michael Hayes is the day of show producer and part of the creative on the biggest show. So yeah, that's to be expected. Michael Hayes has a long time been a producer and member of that creative team. Paul Heyman is involved in long-term discussions as well as being hands-on with creative of his people. That includes Division, Lesnar, and Reigns, to be expected. Nothing happens with Roman without Paul Heyman's approval. Nick Khan, even though he denied it publicly, also has a voice when it comes to creative, but only when it deals with, and the only one he deals with is Paul Levesque and doesn't directly deal with the creative team. That also makes sense. I would fully expect Nick to be involved in those situations. I wish Will Hobbs the best, but do you really see him doing anything better in WWE than AEW? Yeah, I think I do. I think, the biggest critique that I think AEW has right now is that they've not been good at building like those, big Haas wrestlers. Like you look at some of the people who they've had potential with. Like Will Hobbs is a name that comes to mind. Wardlow, although the injuries piled up on him, is another name that comes to mind. Miro, like any of these big guys. Like in my view, I'm like the guy they've had the most success with, who's had the most sustained like career in AEW, is probably like Lance Archer, and like he's just like fodder. Like he's exactly what ends up happening to most big guys in AEW, in that like they just end up being the muscle for a faction, which is not an inherently bad thing. But I don't think that the AEW style or whatever and Tony's vision for the company and the wrestling that he puts on fits with Will Hobbs, because Will Hobbs is that big, like, meaty man slapping meat, as Biggie would say, right? So I think he'll definitely be viewed as more important in WWE, because that is like a bigger thing. And I think they're gonna take one look at him and be like, ooh, okay, because he is good, and he's got like he understands how to have a great match. So I think he's gonna be fine. I understand what you're saying. I don't believe AEW will go public for the very reason you are saying. ROH on TV, that would be cool. It would be cool, or on YouTube, bro. Like, make it accessible. Like, honestly, make it accessible. Like, maybe you can get a deal with YouTube for like posting it on there. Like, I know that other companies have had like similar deals. Like, just put it on YouTube, man. Open it up. Make it accessible. Let people know who these up and coming stars in AEW are, right? Like, I was watching a AAA show last night that I wouldn't probably have otherwise watched, because it was easy to watch on YouTube, But that I don't. I mean, again, I don't know exactly what what those business discussions are about ROH, or if they actually exist. Quite frankly, I think ROH needs, Tony cannot be involved in that show like on the day to day. It needs another booker. There's zero care put in that show. What do we got here? Thoughts on Ryan Ward, the one to handle the creative pitches for Triple H. He was one of the guys that helped the start of NXT. I mean, he knows his stuff. I do think, though, there's only so much you can do when it comes to the current WWE situation. That chip is sailed a long time ago as far as ROH's pursuit of a TV deal. Tony simply dragged his feet when it comes to Ring of Honor, getting away from Honor Club. Yep, 100% agreed. I think, like, ROH is like Tony needs to give that up. If I'm being honest, I think it needs someone else running it. He can be involved in like the high level discussions or whatever, but he needs to delegate that to someone else. I've been saying this for a long time. I don't think it's gonna happen, unfortunately. But yeah, it's quite unfortunate. Anyway, what else do you guys want to talk about? Oh, well, we got to give a happy trails real quick. Happy trails to the former Fandango, now known as Dango, who retired at Genesis last night from pro wrestling. Shout out to him. Him beating Jericho was an insane thing. They never capitalized on it, but it was always a fun gimmick. Shout out to Fandango. What else you guys want to talk about? What else is on your mind? What else is going on? I mean, do we want to do Do we want to do like my lists, my wrestling awards? Is this what we want to do? Do we want to do this? Okay, I could do it. I mean, I really only have I have 3 awards to give out, I guess. I mean, and 1 list. But I have 3 awards, 1 list to give out, and I can do these rather quickly, but I do want to explain a little bit of why some of these I thought of. So, obviously 2025 was a weird year in many ways. I think it was like for AEW, it's like a bit of a recovery year. For WWE, it's a bit of a really, in many ways, a decline year. And the weird situation that it has been developing with Lucha, or not weird, it's a good situation, I think, because like there's more eyes on Lucha than I think there's ever been in the United States. But all that considered, I'm gonna read out a list of my top 10 matches of 2025. So, honorable mention here: Kyle Fletcher versus Mike Bailey in the Continental Classic on Dynamite. I believe it was like December 2nd or something. Great match, insane TV match. Probably the best TV match of the year. Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley at Evolution 2, honorable mention. And Mark Briscoe versus MJF at All Out Thumbtacks match. Those are my 3 honorable mentions that I wanted to get out of the way. And now we go to the list. Number 10, Women's Blood and Guts. Fantastic storytelling. Of the War Games style matches we've seen this year, I think this one was clearly the best one. AEW and the producers there understand what War Games is supposed to be, and the first ever Women's War Games match did not disappoint. I thought that it was the perfect blend of serious violence and storytelling, and just kind of continued to prove like the year that AEW has had in lifting up women's wrestling. Number 9, this might shock some people: Yota Tsuji versus Dave Finlay at Wrestle Kingdom. These two hit it out of the park. This was the match where I feel like Dave Finlay finally put it together, which is why he's one of the top free agents out there right now. And it's also, I think, in part of this match is also why Yota Tsuji right now is the IWGP World's Heavyweight Champion. Like, these two put on a clinic. They got themselves over that like proverbial hump, and now they're in the driver's seat of their careers, which is fantastic. Next, we have Ricochet, Kenny Omega, and Konosuke Takeshita. One of the best triple threat matches I've ever seen. Fantastic stuff. Shout out to Kenny for winning the belt. Kyle Fletcher, Will frickin' Ospreay, Revolution Steel Cage match. I don't really need to say much. I think these two are like a fight forever duo where they're always going to be fighting. There's always going to be something going on, and like just that ending sequence where Ospreay, he slams Fletcher off the top of the cage, and Fletcher, with his last breath, he doesn't even have anything left to give. He doesn't have anything left to defend himself, and he lets out, "I hate you. I hate you. I effing hate you. You son of a bitch. F you." And Ospreay, bam, hits the hidden blade. Fantastic. Number 6, Io Sky, Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair. WrestleMania, the best match of WrestleMania. They put everyone else on that entire show, both nights, to shame. I think that, you compare that to anything else, any moment, and anything else that happened in Mania weekend. Like, this was far and away the best thing. Io Sky winning with a frog splash out of nowhere in an unexpected moment when everyone believed that Rhea was going to win, or Bianca was like the obvious person, and Io was only there to take the pinfall. Fantastic. Next, we have Cody Rhodes, John Cena 2. Not the first one. Not Mania. But Cody Rhodes, John Cena 2, SummerSlam. This was the epitome of a big John Cena match. Did it have the flips and stuff? No. Did it always have the right storytelling? Absolutely not. But it was spectacle in its best and most finest to consume way. I think this might be one of my favorite John Cena and Cody Rhodes matches ever. It was, it could have marked a turning point in the entire like John Cena final year. It obviously didn't because the creative that was to follow was really bad with Brock Lesnar and all that. But I mean, as a match, as a moment, this was fantastic. We also have at number 4, Hangman Page, Will Ospreay, Double or Nothing 2025. A turning point for AEW for sure. And just like, I think, storytelling is a word that's thrown out there. I think this match and the match that I have at number 3 are going to personify that more than anything. Like the story they told during this match was just like, it's a ages like old as time. The best versus the best going out to prove who is like worthy of taking out the big villain. And I think it reminded me of like these like big anime fights before you fight the final boss. You got to get through, like your counterpart. It's just great. And Hangman winning was also amazing. Number 3, Mariah May, Toni Storm, the Hollywood ending at Revolution. Should have main evented. I will go to my grave saying that match should have main evented the show. It was the perfect send-off for Mariah May in her AEW career, and the perfect way to, I think, cap off one of the best storylines and feuds that AEW's ever had. I think this was my feud of 2024, and there's a case to be made. This is feud of 2025, even though it only lasted like 2 months into the year. This match was more violent than I thought it was going to be, and in the best way. These women proved that, they are objectively two of the best in the world. And it just continued like a run of matches for Toni Storm and a run of stories for Toni Storm and a run of promos for Toni Storm that I think have been really unmatched by most people in pro wrestling today. Number 2, and by the way, there's no more AEW or WWE matches on this list. But at number 2, I have Mystico, MJF, CMLL 93rd anniversary show. Much like the CMLL, much like, we talk about like the resurgence of Lucha, I think CMLL and their resurgence is something that has really catapulted things. Like, you have 60 reported sellouts of Arena Mexico in the past year. You have, as opposed to like, WWE, like, being the bar of that. Like, and remember, Arena Mexico is like, they do a Friday show every week. Every week they have at least like 10,000 there. Usually, like, their sellouts, they have like 15, 16,000. And to do that sustained success, have that level of sustained success in one city in a weekly show is insane. They sold over 1 million tickets in the past year. Like, CMLL is on the rise, and it's because of Mystico. I want to give Mystico his props, and I will in a later segment. But Mystico and MJF had the feud of the year, in my opinion. It crossed several promotions, not just AEW, not just CMLL, but they ended up doing stuff in MLW. Like, it crossed boundaries, it crossed borders. MJF had this match, this blood feud with Mystico, the crowd raining down booze and other stuff on him, and then flew out and had like another like match of the year contender with Mark Briscoe in that now infamous thumbtacks match. Like, MJF is a pro. Mystico led the way though in this, and if you have not seen this match, I highly recommend. It's on YouTube. You can go watch it. Fantastic stuff. But my number 1 match of the year, it did not change from January. It did not change from the 5th of January, 2025. It is Gabe Kidd versus Kenny Omega. Big match, big New Japan match feel. Major stakes. Kenny Omega returning after nearly a year away. This was everything. This is everything you could want out of pro wrestling. This was the perfect style, the story of and using the meta. Like, people, I know Charlton got a lot of flack for what he was saying, and he got suspended by New Japan for saying, oh, AEW is taking talent away from New Japan. But like, that was a part of the genuine interest in this, right? Because it felt real. And that's when pro wrestling's at its best. And for everyone who said, oh, Kenny, will he still have it? He went out there and said, I'm going to have one of the best matches of my career with a young guy, put him over, and now he's going to either be the leader of New Japan or he's going to be one of the best free agents that now WWE is calling. Now AEW is calling. I cannot give that match more props than I already have. Fantastic stuff. So, match of the year 2025, the Real Takey Award goes to Kenny Omega and Gabe Kidd. There is no physical award. We are too broke. If you guys want to help make us less broke and I'll be able to afford awards next year, become a member or leave a super chat for $5 a month. Okay. Next award, I'm going to do Male Wrestler of the Year. Male Wrestler of the Year, I have to give it to Mystico. There's a lot of people you could give it to. You could give it to MJF. You could talk about, the Roman Reigns of the world if you want that. I think it was hands down Mystico. The way he led CMLL, and this is a guy who 20 years ago was the biggest draw in CMLL. The way he led CMLL, the way he was able to just galvanize an entire audience around him and his promotion, and put a light on guys like Dorada, on the younger talent within CMLL, has just been beautiful to see. On top of that, he's had the feud of the year with MJF. I think he had the best entrance of the year this year at Grand Slam Mexico. It's just one of the most beautiful things you will see. And I just don't think that there was anyone in 2025 who had the impact of a Mystico on their respective promotion or on wrestling as a whole. So 2025 Male Wrestler of the Year, Mystico. Female Wrestler of the Year, for many of the same reasons, I'm going to go with Toni Storm. You could obviously say that it was Mercedes. I think Io, I think it was a genuine toss up, I will say, for a while between Io and Toni Storm. I think Toni stayed. I think the real difference was Toni just stayed a little bit more relevant for a lot longer, and the character work on Toni is just insane. It is next level. I don't think that there's been a true character that has been able to transcend that realm of wrestling and keep it up like Toni has since The Undertaker. And I'm not saying they're the same character or whatever, but she does not break. She never breaks. She has not broken for almost 2 years now. And that's an insane thing to happen in modern day wrestling. So I have to give it to Toni Storm for character work, for the storylines, for the fantastic matches, and insane AEW Women's World Championship run. And finally, Promotion of the Year. It was not WWE. Spoiler alert, it was not WWE. The Promotion of the Year was most certainly AEW. You could make a case for CMLL. I would have, if you had asked me in March, I would have been making the case for New Japan. But, New Japan fell off very hard very quickly, unfortunately, after a hot start. And I just think AEW, man, it's the one company that you could argue got better and better and better and better as the year went by. It was not a good start. The Jeff Jarrett stuff, the Cope and Mox stuff, it was not all sunshine and rainbows, but it felt like All In Texas was a turning point. It felt like All In Texas and everything that would follow was, we're just going to do, this is AEW at its best. Great in-ring storytelling, fantastic character work, great promos. They clicked on every single level. I thought there was, a run there of shows where I was like, this probably tops like any like 6-week run of shows that AEW's had. And that was like between I think it was like between All Out and Wrestle Dream. Just fantastic stuff. So shout out to AEW. I know we got some chats here. What do we have here? YouTube works too. I agree, Omar. Someone else should book ROH. I also wish Powerhouse Hobbs the best. However, when it comes to booking such creative, I trust Sean more than I do Triple H. I mean, he's probably going to NXT. Tony versus Mariah May. Hollywood ending should have main evented Revolution because if any match could have followed the steel cage match, it would have been that. I agree as well. Where does the trios titles go now that they're on Hangman and Jet Speed? I think that like they're telling a very interesting story. Like they're laying the groundwork here with some dissension because Hangman and Swerve for the first time in their career are on the same page. And if you watch Collision last night, Swerve had like a big back and forth between Kevin Knight that's now leading to a match on Dynamite. Where, Swerve was like, Kevin Knight, you're not good enough. But then Kevin Knight got the victory, obviously, in the match for the trios title. So I would look for some dissension. I think the end goal is a Swerve Strickland full-blown heel turn on Hangman, and then we get a rematch, Hangman Swerve at All In Wembley Stadium. Oh no, Omer, you said AEW is the promotion of the year. Again, shout out to Batman. I know I'm sure that's the case, but if you're going to make me talk about that person, you have to give me a super chat. I'm so sorry. I don't talk about that person unless you give me a super chat. Omar, recently Tony Khan was asked to respond to Cody's comments about feeling disrespected at AEW. Tony was visibly uncomfortable about it and gives me concern that he does not handle conflict well. I mean, he does not handle conflict well. That's objectively true. But I think it's very clear from some of the things that have happened in the past. But what I will say is, I think eventually whatever happened will probably come out in this day and age. It always does. I'm not sure what it was. Cody has alluded to the fact that maybe in some way, his family was disrespected. I'm not going to speak for the man when he hasn't fully disclosed this, but he's always said it was a personal issue, and all signs don't point to, no signs point to Tony or to Matt and Nick Jackson. They seem to still be very close. No signs point to Kenny. Signs seem to point to Tony. So I'm not sure what went down there. But whatever it is, I'm sure it'll come out. Oh, happy 57th birthday to Dave Bautista. Woo! All right, let's check up AEW Grand Slam. Do you agree that Toni Storm is the GOAT for women's wrestling? I think she's a GOAT right now. I don't think she's the GOAT, though. I would still put Becky in that category. I would still put Becky in there. All right. Trying to find this Grand Slam Australia. Actually, let me just go to AEW ticket maps. They seem to have a number here. But yeah, I mean, the Grand Slam Australia show is like last year they had about, what was it, somewhere around in the ballpark of like 12, 13,000. Originally it was supposed to be a stadium, and then they had to cut it down. But same arena or same style of venue, like same capacity, but they have not been selling well. Let me see if I can find the latest number here for the Australia show. I think like the last time I checked, it was like they had just crossed 5,000 tickets. Which, like in an arena, if it's 12,000, like it's not great for going all the way to Australia. That's all I'm gonna say. It's not the best for going all the way to Australia to be in front of like 5,000 people. Again, I mean, I don't know what the situation is. If there's a deal potentially for AEW to go there, and then they're getting paid to go there, don't know if that's the case, but last number I can find is January 6th. Grand Slam Australia update, 5.1 tickets distributed. Cost, they're currently set up for 7.7 thousand. So, yeah. They have like a month. We'll see how well that does. All right, what else do you sickos want to talk about before we head on out of here? Anything? Is anything on your mind? Penta's big announcement on AAA's YouTube could have been an indication of a TV deal in the States. I think so too. I think that's what they're trying to work towards, some sort of distribution for AAA. Or sorry, AAA. All right. I think I had one more thing. I forgot. Where is it? I thought I had one more thing. I guess I don't. All right. All right, guys. Well, this has been a fun little stream. I appreciate y'all tuning in, showing up, showing out. Reminder, everyone, if you guys want to guarantee question or statements around the air, get access, early access, I should say, to future videos, be sure to become a member for $5 a month. $5 is all it takes. All you got to do is hit that join button and see what it's all about. With that, this week, in the coming days, you will get access to 2 future videos, me talking about the worst Royal Rumble of all time, and also Chris Jericho coming back to WWE at the Royal Rumble. I'll talk about that, share my thoughts, fantasy book that. Also, show some love for the new videos that are out. Did one on the WWE Network that I think everyone should check out. It's very relevant. And, of course, fantasy booking, rebooking, what I thought to be one mistake that AEW made in 2025, and that is with Darby Allin. I rebooked that entire sequence, and I had a lot of fun doing it. So go check that out. Fixing the biggest mistake in AEW history. Ooh. Last thing I will plug is youtube.com/WrestleVibes, my side channel, my fun channel. Channel that's, I'm having a lot of fun doing. A lot of docu-style content over there. You can see, been busy. Mystico saved CMLL. If you want to hear more of my thoughts on Mystico, you want to hear more of my thoughts extended for 8 minutes at length on TNA, you guys can go check that out. And I just released a video, The Downfall of Mercedes Moné in AEW. A lot of other content about Moxley, about MJF. So go hit subscribe. All you got to do is at WrestleVibes in the search bar, and you can find it. So, all right. Appreciate everyone. Appreciate your time. Appreciate your concern. Omar, personally, I believe Jade Cargill is underused in WWE. She was so much better in AEW. I mean, yeah. That's it. That's an understatement. You are also getting sick of all the hate each other from the wrestling fans. I mean, I don't. I mean, look, you do stuff for fun. Everyone gets passionate, whatever. But at the end of the day, man, like, always got to ground yourself in fact. It's wrestling. I'm never gonna hate someone for being a WWE fan. Will I be frustrated if you're being, an a-hole to me personally about wrestling? Maybe. But, what, bro, it's like music. You listen to country music, listen to country music. You listen to rap music, listen to rap music. That's the beauty of it. Just don't be a snob about it. Or don't be too much of a snob about it. We can all be a little snobby. Anyway, I appreciate y'all. Until next time, be happy, be healthy, and as always, keep it real. Peace.
Cruising in my lane fast, call it high speed. I've been working hard, yeah, I've been working nightly. If you think you'll win, not likely. I be taking shots, yeah.